Hello and welcome to the weekly Asylum and Immigration Reform Recap, where I share with you 5 recent stories of interest for asylum seekers and those wanting to stay updated on immigration news. This week, we're discussing
ICE director pledges to arrest anyone undocumented in the U.S., even without criminal records. Afghan interpreter detained despite helping U.S. military. Florida Attorney General challenges federal judge over state immigration enforcement. New Trump immigration policy targets H1B visa lottery system. Volunteers mobilize to support migrants at immigration courts nationwide.
I'm Brian Manning, and I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now, as an asylum attorney, I help immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. All right, let's get to the news. First up,
Todd Lyons, acting ICE director, told CBS News that his agents will arrest anyone in the country without authorization, even those without criminal records, and will pursue employers of unauthorized workers. Collateral arrests banned under Biden returned after Trump's arrival, with pressure to make up to 3,000 arrests daily. Congress granted billions in additional funds to ICE. Lyons stated that 1 million annual deportations is possible with these resources. In 6 months, the agency deported 150,000 people, including 70,000 with criminal convictions, though many offenses were immigration or traffic-related. Lyons defended the use of masks for security and promised to hold companies that hire unauthorized workers accountable.
And up next for update number 2.
An Afghan interpreter who risked his life helping U.S. troops was detained by masked ICE agents last week, despite having entered legally with a special immigrant visa. Zia S., 35 years old and father of 5 children, fled Afghanistan after the Taliban takeover in 2021, was arrested following a routine biometrics appointment for his residency in East Hartford, Connecticut. He arrived in the United States in October 2024 through John F. Kennedy Airport with humanitarian parole and an approved SIV visa. This visa is a pathway to residency for those who worked with the U.S. government or military. Senator Richard Blumenthal called the detention an abhorrent violation of basic decency, noting that Zia risked his life for democracy. Representative Johanna Hayes said Zia's family didn't know where ICE had taken him. A judge halted his deportation, but he remains detained in Plymouth, Massachusetts. The Department of Homeland Security says he's under investigation for a serious allegation, but his attorney Lauren Peterson states he has no criminal history and would face death if deported to Afghanistan.
All right, it's time for our third immigration update.
Florida Attorney General James Uthmeier appealed a civil contempt ruling to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. The dispute arose over enforcement of a state immigration law passed in February. This law criminalizes entry or re-entry of undocumented immigrants in Florida. Judge Kathleen Williams temporarily blocked the law in April following questions about its constitutionality. Williams ordered Uthmeier to notify police agencies not to enforce the law. Although Uthmeier sent a letter on April 18th, he later stated he couldn't prevent law enforcement without a clear judicial order. Williams considered this violated her order and demanded bi-weekly reports on law enforcement. Uthmeier argued he complied by not personally enforcing the law and that he could express his disagreement. The dispute continues in the courts.
By the way, if you want to stay updated on asylum and immigration reform news, then make sure to press the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you don't miss the next video. Okay, moving on. We're ready for update number 4.
The Trump administration plans to eliminate or modify the annual H1B visa lottery. A new regulation is under review and could be published soon. The proposal would replace random selection with a salary-based system. When applications exceed the annual limit of $85,000, higher salaries would be prioritized, leaving out most recent graduates and young professionals. Under this system, most recently graduated international students would be excluded. Analysis shows they would have 54% less chance of obtaining the visa than with the current lottery. Critics say the change violates the law and harms recruitment of young talent in the United States. It would also exclude workers in lower-paid fields like teachers, doctors, and scientists. Even figures like Nobel laureate Katalin Karikó would have been excluded under this system. More than 70% of graduate students in electrical engineering and computer science are international, essential for artificial intelligence.
And finally, our 5th immigration update for this week.
A diverse network of volunteers, religious leaders, students, and retirees accompanies at-risk immigrants during court hearings across the country. They create training materials and information sheets in multiple languages to guide and protect those facing deportation proceedings. They help memorize contacts, secure belongings, and witness hearings, even when judges dismiss cases and migrants become vulnerable. In Seattle, they confront ICE agents and support people like a Colombian man threatened with detention. Robbie Rohr, a retired volunteer, emphasizes that their work helps migrants feel accompanied in the process. Reverend Fabian Arias comforts families affected by unexpected detentions. Young people like Brianna Garcia inform and document arrests to protect rights. In Denver, volunteers accompany immigrants after hearings, facilitating contact with attorneys if necessary.
And that concludes this week's immigration news. If you want to win asylum in the United States, then you should call my office today. We help people all over the country, so it doesn't matter where you are. Call us now to schedule an asylum strategy session so that we can assist you in securing your future in America through asylum. Again, I'm Brian Manning, and it's an honor to serve you in your immigration journey.